Well, we should potentially hang out before that then, before you leave.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'll grab your...
Number?
Yeah. Is that your posture right there?
Where? Yeah, like the hands on the hip are
Yeah,
just slightly bent back.
when you go up and talk to a girl, is that your posture?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? We were wondering, what do you think of that gentleman's posture? And should we start incorporating that posture into our daily lives?
Which ones?
Winston Churchill here. Sir Winston Churchill.
So we're thinking about like walking around like this because we hear it's like really attractive and sexy posture.
I think you guys are sexy enough. You don't
Oh, stop.
They go back at you.
you
What?
don't have to copy him.
What's your background? Where are you from?
I'm from Turkey, actually. My English isn't... you know-
Instable?
Yeah, it's not really good as you guys, so...
You're doing all right so far.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So far, so good. Well, we should potentially hang out before that then, before you leave.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'll grab your...
Number?
Yeah. So that's me, going up and having a conversation with a random girl. I'm not using any pickup lines, I don't have a script memorized. It's just me being my authentic self, and I'm literally just saying whatever comes to mind. And guys, this took me forever to figure out how to do, okay? And in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys how you can effortlessly carry on conversations with girls while having the conversation still feel natural and not forced, okay? And I'll even show you guys how to make the conversation more exciting so it's not a boring conversation that won't lead to anywhere, okay? So if that sounds good to you, hit the big red juicy subscribe button below. So I was stuck. I was stuck for the longest time. Once I got over my approach anxiety and my fear of approaching girls, I was able to go up and approach a girl, right? She was smiling, she was receptive to my approach, but the approach would always go like this. It would always start high, and then it would crash and burn, right? I would literally see the smile fade off of her face, and I would watch her get disinterested as the conversation went on. And this fucking killed. This hurt so much because it was literally like a sinking ship, right? And I had no idea what I was doing wrong, right? I'd find myself kind of awkwardly forcing the conversation. I would just be talking just to talk. I had no idea. I couldn't figure it out, right? And then the odd time where I did actually get her number, it wouldn't go anywhere, right? And that would, that's assuming that it was the right number, right? And then if it did go somewhere, she'd just end up, ghosting me, and it was like, she just faded off into the abyss. It was like being stuck on a level in a friggin' video game, right? Like you're trying to defeat this boss. You keep getting so close. You can see that the health bar is so low, the boss is beginning to fade, and then you just die again and again, and you can't figure out what you're doing wrong. You've tried every strategy in the book, and then it just turns out you're doing something stupid, right? You were doing something so obvious. It's like when you lose the remote, right? You look everywhere but, the couch cushions, the most obvious spot. It was like this, right? Approaching the girl, the interest would just fade out. The conversation would feel forced, and I'd be thinking, what happened, right? It's because I was just having boring conversations. I was being boring, right? And a lot of you guys are probably doing that as well without even realizing it. What I began to realize was that I would go up and approach girls, and I would just expect the conversation to just play out. Oh, all the hard work's done now. I've approached the girl. The conversation's just gonna unravel. She's gonna be interested. I've mustered up all this courage to go and approach her. Now the conversation is just gonna roll flawlessly, okay? And that's not the case, because oftentimes girls will reflect what your vibe is like. So if you come in hot, guns a-blazing, right? The girl's excited. She's like, who's this good-looking stud coming up and approaching me? And then you resort to talking about the weather or talking about work and just kind of playing it safe just to kind of get by, right? It's not going to really lead anywhere, okay? You still need to have an exciting conversation, okay? Don't expect the girl to lead the conversation, because she will generally lead it to, what do you do for work? Oh yeah, I do this. And it's going to be boring, right? So you want to be taking control of that conversational steering wheel and steering it into smoother seas, all right? So to sum it up, it's like, be more exciting. Don't be boring, all right? How do you do that? Don't worry. I got you guys, okay? The first thing you want to do is you want to take your phone and you want to light it on fire. I don't want you guys ever looking at your phone again, okay? Because this is what's f***ing up most of your conversations with girls, all right? It's that you're just overall bored. And guys, I'm only half kidding here. But seriously, you need to monitor what's happening here, okay? We are all wired right now in 2023 to receive these instant dopamine hits, right? You get a new match on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. Oh my God, who is this girl with the big tits, right? Oh my God, a new notification. Betty Big Bags likes my photo. Wow, look at me, right? We're so glued to our phones, and it's not doing anything for us socially because we're staring at a screen. We're not actually going out and connecting with people anymore. So the reason why you're having overall boring conversations with girls is because you are bored yourself, right? You go up and approach a stranger, you know, you're feeling good in the moment, they're feeling good, and then all of a sudden you just get bored, right? Because you're expecting that other person to give you that dopamine hit, and it doesn't happen, so you just kind of give up. You know, you feel your phone go off in your pocket, you pull it out, and you know, you're on to something better. You're trying to receive that dopamine hit, but no, you got to lead the conversation, okay? So I understand that a lot of you guys may think, okay, I'm not exciting, you know, I don't know how to not be boring, whatever the case is. I'll help you guys out, okay? So one thing that I did was I began to go up and approach strangers, okay? Guys and girls alike. And what I began to realize was that, hey, people love to talk about themselves, right? So I began to ask more questions. I began to go up and approach strangers and ask them more about themselves. And I developed this genuine curiosity about the person in front of me, okay? I'd just go up and I'd compliment a guy. I like the shades, man. You got good taste in sunglasses. I'm a big Ray-Ban guy too. And then, you know, the guy would say, oh, did you know that, you know, Ray-Ban was actually founded in Singapore, and they had this office downtown there that, you know, unfortunately was hit by a train in 1973, and then, you know, the office combusted, and then they had to relocate to Antarctica. I'm just pulling stuff out of my head here, you know, I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass. But the point is, you begin to learn a lot about things you never thought you would. Right? You begin to pick up these interesting facts, and you begin to learn more about topics you never thought you'd learn about, right? This is what happens when you go out and talk to people outside of your immediate circle, right? You begin to talk to people outside of your friends, family, Big Mike from the gym, and you know, your boss or whoever it is that you interact with on a daily basis. You begin to learn more about different topics, right? You can also advance this by going and listening to podcasts while you're driving and working, learning new skills, learning new things every single day, so that when you have a conversation with a girl and she goes and starts talking about, I don't know, friggin' spark plugs, you can tell her that, hey, you know, I didn't realize that the three-pronged spark plug from Lithuania is actually one of the best spark plugs in the game because it's got unlimited power, right? You know, whatever the case is, you're going to be more knowledgeable in areas where you didn't think you would. And here's the ultimate kicker, guys. This is what's really going to help out your conversation skills with girls. It's going to be able to keep that conversation flowing naturally, is just by being present, okay? Observing that person in front of you. Remember what I told you earlier, guys, right? By being present, getting out of your head, not thinking so much, and then just getting the person in front of you to open up about themselves. Get them talking about themselves, right? So when you're talking to a girl, make it less about you and more about her. It actually works in your benefit to be mysterious, right? Because when you do get her on that date, she's going to be thinking, wow, I don't really know too much about this guy, right? You wouldn't go watch a movie if you watched a trailer where it was 6 minutes long and it told you everything about the movie, right? You'd be like, well, I've already seen the movie. There's no point. It's the same thing with talking to a girl, right? A lot of guys want to qualify themselves. They want to tell the girl everything about them. And then the girl's just sitting there like, Okay, well, I know everything about this guy. Why would I want to go on a date with him? Right? So it actually works in your benefit to be mysterious and be vague and ask the girl questions about herself. Right? Ask her questions. Be genuinely interested in her. Right? What's your story? Okay, so why did you choose to come to, this coffee shop over that one? So you're not much of a Starbucks fan, eh? Okay. No, you're more of a tea toddler, huh? So you're really getting to know her, but you're being flirty, with those questions at the same time. And I realize that a lot of you guys might have trouble being flirty, right? You end up just having boring conversation. Maybe, the conversation flows, but you're not being flirty, right? You're talking to the girl as if you were, talking to a male acquaintance. You want to be flirty, but you don't necessarily know how to do it, or maybe you're just playing it safe. But don't worry, I got you guys. You can watch this video right here. This is how you can have fun and flirty conversations with a girl and not get stuck in that dreaded friend zone.